I am a steward of my talent.
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 Trust God, dedicate. Everybody has many different talents. The hard part is to figure out what to do with those talents. For me, I make my living as a designer, so it's pretty easy to say, well, I can do some graphics or some things for the church with that capacity. But it's a lot more complicated than that, I think. The talents can be a lot more subtle. You're good with kids, or you're just great spending time listening. Those are talents that God's given us, and you have to really listen and with prayerful consideration find out what God's purpose is for the use of those talents.
My life means to trust, love, and help for God. I started teaching Sunday school here when my twins were 3 years old, and I just started teaching music and songs with them in the classroom here at our church, and it started to grow, and for the past year I've taught for 4 years old and kindergarten kids, and to see their faces excited to sing and glorify God, that's what it's all about. I know my talents come from God, and I actually have a responsibility to use them. And God trusts that I use them, whether it's at home with my family, or in this church in Glen Ellen, or even at school.
Volunteering of myself for my neighbor. I think some of them come easy and some of them are very recognizable. Other talents you probably have to take a few risks in order to get full value out of that talent. I did not know what I was getting into when I walked into the TNT in a room full of teenagers that are all pumped up, but I think some things come out when you're willing to take that risk and talents come to the surface.
Trust God, love of Christ for my neighbor. When we're using our talents, we're casting seeds and we're throwing them out onto fertile ground, hopefully always onto fertile ground, and hoping that those seeds are planted and that they grow. And we don't always know in this life and in this world how those talents are used for His kingdom, but with faith we assume that they are if we're praying and moving forward in the direction that we feel He's leading us.
More God means less of myself. I know when I focus on Him, I can do anything. He can use me, and that's all I'm ever asking for. When I put the focus on Him and away from myself, all things are possible with Christ. When I quit battling God and come to know that He loves me no matter what, besides, with all my faults and all my character defects and all my wants and my needs, when I came to have peace with God, it gave me the courage to stand up and want to be a part of it, want to do more for Him.
God's given you talent, and it's our job to use those talents that God gave us. So wherever you are in this church, you will find a place. We need your talents, whether you're young, old, and God will definitely bless you.
I'd say take some risks. I would say step outside your normal bounds and you'd be surprised at how good that feels and what good it does for others. You may have been thinking all along about trying to do it, wanting to do it. Just take the risk. It's worth it.
Don't be afraid. Leave it out there. Just come and help out in some way.
My prayer is that we would all be able to hear what God's direction is for us and how He wants us to use our talents. If we can just be quiet long enough and still long enough to hear what His intentions are in our lives, it becomes very clear what you should be doing.
I will spend myself.
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 I will spend myself for Christ.